Okay, so this is everything I got shipped to me for the month of June 2021. 2021. It's kind of the opposite of last month where I got this like super fat stack of single issues and no trades. So we'll start with those first. First up, I got 7 to Eternity Volume 3. I've actually not read Volume 1 or 2. I recently acquired a coworker's graphic novel collection. He was moving. He was like, "Do you want all these books? You got to take them all. You can't come pick." So I went and picked up like 10 boxes worth of graphic novels, went through what I wanted to keep, and he had volume 1 and 2 in here. I really like Rick Remender and the artist Troma Penis, so I did buy the first issue of this a long time ago, and I really liked it. I was like, oh, I'll collect this instead of just reading this month to month, and I just kind of forgot about it. So hey, I got the first 2 for free, picked up the third one. Looking forward to it. It's going in the backlog though, because I have so many other books to read first, unfortunately. I guess you could call this part 2.5 of the Batman White Knight saga. It's a Harley Quinn story, obviously. It's overseen by Sean Murphy, who writes and draws the Batman White Knight stuff, but Katana Collins and Matteo Scalera. He's Italian. I mispronounced his name for sure. Is doing the art. It takes place roughly 2 years, I think, after the second Batman White Knight book, after the Azrael stuff. Some villains are starting to reappear in Gotham, so Harley Quinn is out to kind of look into it. So his art's very similar to Sean Murphy, so you can see stuff, and hey, I recognize that poster. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Like a lot of these Batman White Knight stuff, like the dust jacket's fine, but the actual like hardcover art is like really nice. So I'm probably gonna get rid of the dust jacket just like I did the last volume, because this is like so much nicer. And oh, they have it on the side too. I think one of the other volumes I have doesn't have a print on the side, so it's just in my Batman section you just see this one book. So yeah, I'll get rid of that. Move on. And then the last one is Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics. This is just a graphic novel version of his life, basically. Jack the King Kirby, sung by Tom Sicoli, who's a huge Jack Kirby fan. And yeah, I had to get it because I love Jack Kirby as well. Like, he's, along with Stan Lee, basically created everything we know about the Marvel Universe. Had a hand in creating pretty much every character that's still around, like almost every core member of the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men. So yeah, we'll go into the politics of Jack and Stan, but I love Stan Lee. So all right, first up in the main books, let me kind of separate these, is the X-Men stuff. This was a big X-Men month because they're doing the Hellfire Gala, so literally every X-Men title got published this month. The Hellfire Gala is the end of like the second act of Jonathan Hickman's, I guess, time on the X-Men, so it's gonna wrap some things up and then just kick things off into the next arc. He's gonna write a new book called X-Men Inferno. I think it's like 6 issues or something, so should be kind of cool. Curious how that happens. Obviously, though, the Hellfire Gala is gonna kick off with Marauders because it is Emma Frost's party. That's her Hellfire Gala gown. I really would like them to do a book that's just like all the costume designs for the Hellfire Gala. There's some really cool stuff. Moving on, X-Force is up next. They're the security force. I got all this like, Beast looks so silly in this in this uniform. But hey, they're security. They got to be matching, I guess. Then we went to Hellions, who obviously everybody got invited to Hellfire Gala, not just the X-Men, but like the Avengers are supposed to be there, the Fantastic Four, Namor, even Kevin Feige shows up, and I saw a panel, he's like talking to Cyclops. I'm like, oh, that's kind of meta. But yeah, Hellions are there, Excalibur, Richter's a little mad. You see Professor X back there. Of all the people's like Hellfire Galas, Professor X is probably one of the most like bling. He's got like his giant X helmet on, but it's all like gold and white and chains. It's pretty rad. I'm not sure if this ties in. This is the last issue of X-Men before it relaunches with a new number 1. So this is like the last Hickman written X-Men. So I'm sure this is going to like plant a lot of seeds for what's coming next. And then next month's X-Men number 1 is basically tying off where Jean and Scott went and talked to the council. Well, really just Charles. And we're like, we should have like an actual X-Men team of heroes going out there doing hero stuff. So they had a vote. Both the story was Krakoa voted. The mutants on Krakoa could vote for who they want to see be an X-Men. But they let people on the internet vote as well. So I think the team, off the top of my head, if I remember correctly, is going to be Cyclops, Jean Grey, Sunfire, Rogue, Wolverine, Laura, not Logan, Polaris, Rogue. I said Rogue already. And I want to say his name's Tempest. He was in an X-Men series like a couple of years ago with Laura and Darwin. They went into this like building, but I think it's Tempest. He copies people's powers. It can't be Tempest. That seems like a time thing. I don't want to say his name's Mimic. That seems too obvious, but Tempest or Mimic. I'm terrible. There's too many X-Men with too many names. Moving on. Children of the Atom. This is definitely a miniseries. I read it was a miniseries. I saw an ad for the collection that has 6 issues, but then I also read that due to sales that they might carry on, which doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm definitely not going to, if it carries on, I'm going to cut it because this book was clearly written, drawn, edited, finished before the pandemic. So it does not tie into any X-Men stuff right now at all. It just doesn't. Some X-Men show up, sure, but it just doesn't contribute to the Hickman stuff, which is why I read every single X-Men book, because I want to get the full scope of what Hickman's doing with the X-Men. And this doesn't tie into anything. So unless they do something really stupid like the last issue, I don't know, they make onto Krakoa, then dang it. I'd not be happy with that. Right in the middle of the Hellfire Gala, we have Planet-Size X-Men. This is, giant-size X-Men, changed X-Men forever. This is now Planet-Size X-Men. So watch out, old man, the future's now. This is actually a pretty thick issue. I wonder if it's going to take a peek at the back. Okay, no, there's see some graphs and stuff. Okay, usually you get like a big issue like this. The first half is like all new, and then the last half we'd get like, honestly, we get like a reprint of Giant Size X-Men #1 or something like that. So that's a lot of book. I like that too. So this is supposed to kick off, like, you have the gala going on and things are happening, but then this is like the big thing that really does something. We'll find out. New Mutants is up next. The kids are at the gala. I think of all the books, because pretty much every X-Men book actually wrapped up their kind of main plots last month. But this has a lot of secondary and tertiary things happening, so I think they might touch on some of that there. I would hope they do. There's a lot happening. X-Corps, this is the second issue. The first issue was a lot of fun. I really like the idea of being able to see what the corporate side of the mutant kingdom or world is right now, with Warren Worthington and Penance kind of going out there and wheeling and dealing drugs, basically. The villain of the first issue, no joke, was the president of Brazil, because Brazil did not sign up to recognize the sovereignty of the mutant kind. They told everybody, hey, we're back and we have these super drugs. If you respect our sovereignty, then we'll give you access. Brazil's like, nope, not doing that. So he invites them and tries to trap the X-Men, which, yeah, that's going to go well. President Brazil trapping the X-Men. Up next is Wolverine. I think this is going to be a fun issue. Just Deadpool trying to crash the party. He was on X-Force, obviously. He wasn't even an X-Men for a while, so why not? But yeah, that should be a lot of fun. Up next is Sword. This has to tie in some way. If anything, it probably ties into Planet-Size X-Men. I feel like Planet-Size X-Men's dealing is a hint towards something in space. Planet-size, perhaps. And Sword's been like hinting at some like X-Men in space stuff as well. So I'm pretty sure we'll see some continuation there. Way of X issue 3. This book is like quickly climbing to the top of my favorite X-Men books. I love Nightcrawler. He's one of my favorite mutants, but the story is pretty wild. He's actually now teaming up with Legion. That was the whole thing he was trying and find. This like ex-mutant boogeyman turned out to be Legion. Well, he thought it was Legion. He finds Legion's like corporal kind of ghost astral plane form, and Legion's like, you gotta find me because I'm just a brain in a jar and I need you to basically kill me so I can be reborn on Krakoa. He reluctantly does that, and then when he's reborn, Legion's like, hey, you're looking for this patchwork man, the mutant boogeyman. I know who it is. It's not me, it's Onslaught. So that's definitely the kind of thing you drop at the end of an issue, like Onslaught's back. Cool. That would definitely have an effect on the rest of the X-Men. And then X Factor 10. This is the last Hellfire Gala kind of tie-in issue. This is also the last issue of X Factor. So I know Polaris, she's in the new X-Men book, which I guess that works. What's going to happen to the rest of them? So I guess Rogue, though, is also in Excalibur. So she can be in 2 books? I don't know. I guess we'll see. But This also, the internet told me I should get multiple copies of this because this is where the event ends, and just like it sets up like true believers won't believe is what the ad told me. So I'm a true believer. Maybe I won't believe it until I see it. And then the last book for X-Men is Cable. This does not tie to Hellfire Gala. This I guess takes place afterwards, but there's only 2 issues left. This is the second last issue in Cable, and he's on the hunt for strife with Domino. So I'm pretty curious how this ends. There's also been this really cool side bits where you see like a old man Cable in the future. And the last issue kind of revealed that is most likely Kid Cable grown up. So I was thinking that, oh, maybe like old man Cable is still alive, time travel. People can just be alive, and maybe he's going to replace Kid Cable, and Kid Cable dies to save old man Cable, and old man Cable's back and all stuff. But I like Kid Cable, so I hope he sticks around. All right, now from the main course, fat stack of regular issues, more than the X-Men, which is not uncommon. Something interesting is I got 2 copies of Young Hellboy #4, and one of them says free replacement. So I was like, oh my gosh, free replacement. There must be something wrong in this other one. So I opened them both up. I flipped through them page for page, and I was like, no, they're exactly, I can't notice anything. When I wrapped them back up, I did notice, it might be hard to see here, but the cover art of this is like super pixelated and low res. So that's it. That's the only thing that's wrong. So Dark Horse reprinted it, and they sent out free replacement copies. So obviously I subscribed to this book through my comic shop, so they gave me a free replacement, which is pretty rad. In like the 20 plus years I've been reading comic books, Marvel and DC have never done, well, I know they've reprinted, but they just like burn the version that's broken or misprinted. So they're just out there. I've never been gone in the comic shop, which I've been buying comic books for 20 plus years. I'm like, oh, hey, here's your replacement that fixes the misprint. I have tons of comics from Marvel on some pretty big titles that have just misprinted pages. It's just the way it goes. Fun stuff. A new Usagi Yojimbo story. So this is like a tie-in. The Dragon Bellow Conspiracy. Still written, drawn by Stan Sakai. I saw the cover originally in the ads. I had high hopes that maybe this artist, Brandon Peterson, was going to be doing the interior art because I really like Brandon Peterson. He did a book called Mouse Guard. Highly recommend. He did some digital stuff for IDW as well. He's a really good artist when it comes to like these anthropomorphic characters. Sadly, he's not doing the interiors, but you can just tell this cover. That'd be I would read that in a heartbeat if he was doing it, but we'll read it anyways. We only find them when we're dead. So I said last month I was on the fence about this book, and issue 6 would have to rock my socks off because I do have my 6-issue rule with any new book, and issue 6 did rock my socks off. It started with a time jump, so I was like, time jumps, here we go, cliche time jump, but it paid off. It was really cool. It jumps to a future where there's now like these cities are built around these dead space gods, and these religions have been forming, and there's a lot of political stuff, backstabbing, and he said, she said kind of thing. I was in. I was like, okay, this was a really good issue, and I want to see where this goes now. So yeah, bit of a slow burn to start, but we'll see where it goes. News to Berserker. I'm pretty sure this is Raphael Grandpa doing the cover art. Like, it looks like his art. It just, something looks a little like, I don't know if it's the inking or the colors, but like that's definitely the way he draws people. Like, those are the boots, those are the shoes he draws, those are the, like, you look at the gear on this Berserk version of Keanu. That's definitely him. But can't wait to see what Netflix does with this. Another Demon Days. It says #1. Each issue is just like a single issue. So I think there's going to be like 5 or 6 in this series. But she's taking, Peach Momoko is taking these like Japanese folklore tales and using Marvel characters to retell them. So last one was like Psylocke fighting Venom, who is a demon, with the help of, I'm pretty sure, the Hulk. I can't recall off the top of my head. This one looks like it's the Black Widow and maybe, no, that's got to be maybe another Black Widow. I don't know. We'll see. But they're really cool. I like those kind of single issue stories. So The House of Lost Horizons, a Sarah Jewell mystery. I got this because, again, it's from the world of Hellboy, so I got it. I get everything that's involved with Hellboy, especially if Mike Mignola does it. And I realized Mike Mignola's not writing this. It's just his frequent collaborator, Chris Robertson. I really like the first issue, though. It's a murder mystery on an island, so all these people go to this island to purchase occult items, and one of them is murdered. And Sarah Jewell's there to figure it out. Reading it, I think this is a comic book my mom would like. I've never got my mom to ever try a comic book in my entire life. I got my dad to read some, but I think she might dig this. My mom really loves this Canadian TV show called The Murdoch Mysteries, and it reminded me a lot of that. So, yeah, I'll get it all. I'll give it to her. Jupiter's Legacy Requiem. This is maybe the fourth, maybe fifth volume of Jupiter's Legacy. I can't remember how many Jupiter's Circle books are. I think there's 2 Jupiter's Circles, so this would probably be the fifth then. Maybe the sixth. It's a lot of Jupiter's Legacy out there. But yeah, new artists on this. Frank Whitley normally has been doing the main Jupiter's Legacy books. Tommy Lee Edwards is doing, which is fine. He's a collaborator with Mark Millar. They've worked on a bunch of stuff that I like, and I do like his art. So curious. I don't really know what this is because I felt Legacy ended in a pretty good note. So very curious. Oh, Ultra Mega 4. So yeah, this is the 4th issue. It's the last issue for this volume. So he only had 4 issues planned originally. That's why they're so thick. He had that much work done in advance, but it's done so well that he's going to do a second volume. So some point next year, probably, we'll get volume 2 of Ultra Mega. I'm pretty sure this cover spoils what's going to happen in this issue, which is totally fine. And I can't say enough about this book. This has been just such an awesome book to read every single month. I'm sad this is the last one I'll get for a while. I'm even sadder that I haven't been able to find they're collecting it now, obviously, and I saw an ad for just like the trade paperback version, but no like oversized hardcover. And if any book being published right now, this deserves an oversized hardcover. I want giant pages of Ultra Mega on my shelf so I can flip through it and just soak it all in because it is so good. So I don't know, maybe I should write a letter to Image. Dear Mr. Image Comics, please make this book for me. Main Usagi Yojimbo book, issue 20. It's crazy how time flies reading comic books. I'm still loving this series, so nothing but good things to say. Black Hammer Reborn. This is the new Black Hammer series. That's a continuation of the main Black Hammer story. So after they've left the farm and they've saved the universe, they're back in, I want to say Central City, but I know that's not right. But they're back home. So see how it goes. Obviously, Black Hammer's daughter is still the Black Hammer, so that's interesting. We'll see how it goes. There's still some other side stories coming, which is good too. I feel like Jeff Lemire at this point should just start a Black Hammer imprinted Dark Horse and just get a bunch of folks to make Black Hammer books. I love that. Jonah and the Impossible Monsters. After reading the last issue, this book's really reminding me of like Avatar: The Last Airbender, and like it's very clearly like a young adult kid's story aimed at a young audience, but there's like this, not like adult themes or like lessons, but like there's stuff happening kind of in the background, or things are, you know, they show you they're clearly a lot darker than you would get in like a kids movie type of thing. You know, you hear the story like these other survivors, you're like, oh, that is dark. But then there's a lot of hope because they're kids and they're trying to fight these monsters. So still a really fun book. There's a black and white version coming out, no colors, just the pencils. I'm not gonna buy it. I was very tempted, but no, I'm gonna pass. I'm just gonna get the one version of it for now. Lady Baltimore. This is issue 4. It's coming to a close. The last issue just like really kicked things off in the story. Witches everywhere. Lady Baltimore is in the dirt. She's got to fight her way out. It's a lot of fun. And I'm loving this book. I really want to see. I hope there's more Lady Baltimore. They've done a lot of setting things up in a good way. So I'm pretty sure we'll get another Lady Baltimore book. And then there's another Tales of the Outerverse, another Mike Mignola book. I still don't know what the Outerverse is. I really should look it up. This is just a one-shot in the Outerverse. What's interesting is you got this Outerverse book. You've got Lady Baltimore, and then you've got, you know, the woman solving murders here on islands. There's 3 books, all the same kind of idea of like this weird magic occult stuff during like the 40s and 50s, but they're like different universes. Like the one is the Hellboy universe, and there's the Baltimore universe, and then there's the Outerverse. As I said last month, Mike Mignola really likes that occult during the like World Wars. I'm not complaining. Give me more. I'm all for it. This has been really, well, it's only the 2nd issue, but I really do like this Hey Kids comics. If anybody's loves the history of comics, of like how publishers formed and died, and you know how the Comic Code Authority screwed folks over, read Hey Kids comics. You get these really cool stories like during these periods of like just comic creators talking shop, but in a comic book. Obviously, their names and faces have been changed to protect those involved, I would say, but you kind of pick up on, he's selling like these books. This is right when the Comic Code Authority took over, and all these books are clearly odes to EC books, like are illegal or just not being published or being burned. Really, what happened back then. Uh, Carmen. This is like after Ultra Mega. This book is tops. It is so rad. It really. I don't know how this book can get more exposure. I wish it could get nominated for an Eisner. That really would have helped, but it's not. The art is fantastic. Like Gilliam Marsh is just killing it with what nerds would call sequential storytelling. Just the way he has these like amazing 2-page spreads of just like the most detailed cities, and the colors are amazing, and just these pictures of people doing mundane things like walking their dog or eating an ice cream cone, and he just splices in these panels in the spread to show you the movement of the characters of the story. It's just ingenious. It's so well done. It's just so well thought out. It's just great. It's such a nice change of pace from a lot of the X-Men stuff I read, which is just like 8-panel pages and stuff. Nothing against those. I love X-Men books. Nothing like it's great, but it's just cool to see something else. And the story's really good. I love this idea of like the last issue really focused on the idea of, if you think about all the friends and family and people in your life and how their lives affect you and mean how much they mean to you, like what's the reverse of that? Like have you ever taken the time to stop and think about what your life means to those around you? Yeah, it's not like too metaphysical. It's not like a Grant Morrison, like how far down the rabbit hole we go with these thoughts, but it's really good. I'm really digging it. This is a new mini I picked up. 6 Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton. Trigger Keaton's a hero, a spy, I'm not sure, but he had 6 sidekicks. Trigger dies, his sidekicks team up to figure out what happened. Reading the preview for this, it reminded me a lot of an episode of Venture Brothers where all the sidekicks team up and they go to group therapy together. Therapist dies and they go to try to figure out what happened. So I picked it up based on that fact, really. So I don't know either creators, so it's always good just to try out something new. I don't know. That's how you find good creators. Sometimes you gotta just take a chance. Be like, I like that premise. All right, Kyle Starks and Chris Schreiser, show me what you got. Black Hammer Visions. I'm really looking forward to this one because I really like the Skull Digger. Of all the Black Hammer spin-offs, the Skull Digger one was my favorite. It was really good. So I'm really curious to read more. All these stories, like I said, the Vision stuff, all the side stuff take place before the first Black Hammer arc comic. So even well before Reborn. But I'm curious if Skull Digger isn't Reborn because a lot of characters I don't know. I guess I'll have to read Reborn and find what happens. Moving on. Beta Ray Bill number 4. Daniel Warren Johnson. I cannot recommend this guy enough. Everything he's done has been great. The series continues to be amazing. It's like reading heavy metal in a comic, like Iron Maiden, just screaming at the top of your lungs, heavy guitar riffs, just solos, and just everything's awesome. But at the same time, there's this really interpersonal story of like trying to find your, you've lost your way. Your meaning in life has been literally destroyed in front of you. So what do? What's your purpose? How do you find it? It's great. It's gonna have such an epic ending. It's already pretty epic right now, so we'll see. But anything this guy does, Daniel Warren Johnson, I'm all on board. Eternals 5. I'm really liking this series. I'm pretty sure this is gonna end though. I just saw an ad for like Eternals: The Rise of Thanos by the same creative team, and I'll tell you what, he said Ribic cannot do 2 books a month. I love the guy, but he's one of those artists that even 1 book a month is unless he's got books already done, like banked, ready to publish, he's gonna fall behind. So I think this ends and it picks up in Eternals: The Rise of Thanos. If that's the case, I'm not gonna pick up Rise of Thanos. You see how many books I have in these piles here. Something's got to give. So sorry, Kieran Gillen, I'm cutting the Eternals soon. And then last one is Red Room. I really liked the first issue of this. It was really cool. It is very much watching, the premise is correct, of a murder room on the dark web where people pay cryptocurrencies to watch people get murdered. You don't see a lot of that so much. It's not like super gore graphic. It is, it's meant to be like, kind of like a B horror movie in a way like that, like The Reanimator or something. But It's some interesting stories, and each issue is a complete story, which I absolutely love that. I love a nice one and done, a nice tight 30 pages. Give me something to go. So yeah, I'm curious. This character shows up in the first issue, like you see him on one of the screens. Like they mentioned a poker face, so I think that's going to be kind of the tie through, maybe. I'm curious if you see anything revealed, because while the first issue definitely told a story in one issue, I did want to see how some of those characters are doing after that story. So yeah, kind of see. Yeah, that's everything. It's a pretty heavy month. Ugh, lots to do. I unpacked all these X-Men because I've been waiting all month to read the Hellfire Gala. So that's first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna publish this video and I'm gonna go read Hellfire Gala. I'm gonna spend the night doing that. I want to try and at least get to Planet Size just so I can see what the hype is about, and then just run around my house screaming about, oh my god, I can't believe you did it. But as always, send me your cheers, send me your jeers, send me your thoughts, and I will talk to you soon.